Today is Monday, December 2nd. We'll tell you how President Biden is pardoning his son despite promising not to, and which family friends President-elect Trump has chosen for his next administration. Also, what Americans bought on Black Friday and what deals are out there this Cyber Monday. Plus, a major snowstorm impacting several states. The world's first social media ban for high schoolers. And should you be allowed to use your phone in a movie theater? A new release is stirring an old debate. Those stories and more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. One of President Biden's final acts in office is a controversial one. He decided to pardon his son, Hunter. That means despite Hunter already being convicted on tax and gun charges, the cases are wiped off his record, along with any other federal crimes he may have committed over the last 10 years. It's good timing for Hunter, who could have faced decades in prison after his sentencing hearings later this month. But this is a pretty big reversal for the president, who has promised not to use the powers of the presidency to help his family. The older Biden says he changed his mind over the weekend because, as he explained it, the Justice Department treated his son differently just because of who he is. Hunter put out a statement, too, saying he will never take this pardon for granted and will devote his life to helping others. But Republicans and even some Democrats say President Biden made the wrong call, setting a bad precedent. And President-elect Trump called it a, quote, abuse and miscarriage of justice. Either way, Hunter Biden's lawyers have already filed the paperwork to put an end to his cases right away. President-elect Trump has made it clear he plans to drive out the same FBI director he chose just a few years ago. Trump announced he now wants former national security official Kash Patel to lead the FBI. In the past, Patel has called for massive changes, agreeing with Trump, who says the Bureau has been weaponized against him. For example, Patel has said the FBI should not be in charge of intelligence gathering anymore, the Bureau's headquarters should be shut down, and the thousands of people who work there should be sent to chase down criminals around the country. For Patel to take the post, he will not only need to be confirmed by the Senate, but also the current director, Christopher Wray, will have to either quit or be fired. Wray's term, which started during the last Trump administration, does not expire for another 3 years. And it's typical for a president to keep on the FBI director, so it's not a role that's swayed by politics. But Trump has made it clear he's not bound by precedent. For now, the Bureau says Wray is just focused on the work. Also, over the weekend, President-elect Trump tapped both of his daughter's father-in-laws for high-profile posts. First, he named Charles Kushner as his pick for ambassador to France. Kushner is a wealthy real estate executive whose son is married to Trump's daughter, Ivanka. The older Kushner that Trump chose was also convicted and served time in prison for preparing fake tax returns, retaliating against witnesses, and more. But Trump pardoned Kushner at the end of his first term. In another development, the president-elect chose another in-law, Massad Boulos, as a senior advisor covering Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. Boulos is a Lebanese-American businessman, and his son is married to Trump's daughter, Tiffany. That post does not require Senate confirmation, but the others do. Millions of Americans are buried under feet of snow this morning, and even more snow is falling today. Parts of the Northeast and upper Midwest have been under winter weather alerts since Saturday. And by tomorrow, some areas could end up getting up to 6 feet of snow from this one storm. At this point, the heaviest snowfall is expected in western Pennsylvania and New York. Governors of both states have issued disaster declarations and deployed National Guard troops. Snow is also still falling in parts of Michigan and Ohio. Roads have shut down and flights have been delayed just as people are trying to return home from the holiday weekend. And even once the worst of the snowstorm is over, the cold temperatures are expected to stick around. Meteorologists say nearly 70% of the continental U.S. will get temperatures below freezing over the next few days. And major cities like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and Minneapolis will have below average temps all week. Americans plan to do a lot more shopping even after a record-breaking Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. And in a recent survey, more than 72 million people told the National Retail Federation they'd be making at least one purchase today. Just like with Black Friday, a lot of deals started early, and some will extend beyond the day into a so-called Cyber Week. Traditionally, Cyber Monday was the day to buy online, whereas Black Friday was reserved for brick-and-mortar deals. But now, both shopping holidays offer plenty of discounts both in-store and online. In fact, Adobe Analytics says Americans spent a record-setting $10.8 billion online during Black Friday. That's more than double what Black Friday shoppers spent online just a few years ago. So what exactly are people buying? Well, so far at least, there's been extra interest in everything from toys to jewelry to appliances to electronics. Hot sellers include game consoles, Wicked toys, makeup and skincare sets, smartwatches, perfumes, and espresso machines. We have more news for you still ahead. But first, this episode is brought to you by Trade Coffee. We've all been there scrambling for a last-minute gift that doesn't feel last-minute. With Trade, you can send a coffee subscription directly to someone's inbox in minutes. It's fast, easy, and guaranteed to impress. I love that gifting a Trade subscription is not just gifting coffee. It's an experience. I can tell you from having a Trade subscription myself that it makes drinking coffee so much more enjoyable. I love getting that fresh bag of coffee in the mail, feeling the excitement of trying something new, and sipping on delicious tasting coffee that I know is high quality. So when you gift this type of experience to a loved one, they'll think of you every time they get a new freshly roasted coffee perfectly matched to their taste from one of the top small batch roasters in the USA. So, are you ready to cross that last gift off your list? Trade Coffee is offering their best savings of the year on gift subscriptions right now. So head to drinktrade.com/newsworthy to send a personalized coffee subscription in minutes. Again, go to drinktrade.com/newsworthy while Trade is offering their best savings of the year on gift subscriptions. Okay, now back to the news. President-elect Trump is once again leaning on tariffs as he readies the world for his second term in office. Over the weekend, he threatened to impose 100% tariffs on 9 countries in the so-called BRICS alliance. The BRICS countries make up a quarter of the global economy. They include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Trump's issue here is some politicians in Brazil and Russia have suggested a special BRICS currency in hopes of making the American dollar less dominant in global trade. But as Trump put it on Truth Social, quote, they can go find another sucker, and said if they do create that new currency, they'll get hit with the tariffs. Remember, the president-elect already promised big hikes in tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China, saying they'll be in retaliation for illegal immigration and drugs. But since that announcement, Trump spoke to the leaders of both Mexico and Canada, and while some of the exact details differ, all the leaders say they had productive conversations. Heads up, if you're planning to send a holiday card or package to Canada, you won't be able to go through the U.S. Postal Service. USPS has stopped sending mail to Canada, at least for now. It's because Canadian Postal Service workers have been on strike for weeks, and the Canada Post apparently can't process or deliver international mail. Canada Post is the country's equivalent to the USPS, and workers there have been striking over things like pay and benefits. The result is that much of Canada's mail system has ground to a halt during the busiest shipping time of the year. And Canada Post says even once the strike ends, it may be a long time to get everything back to normal. For the first time in history, it will be illegal for kids under 16 years old to use social media. In Australia, that is. We told you about the proposed ban several weeks ago, and now Australia's Senate and House have voted overwhelmingly in favor of it, and tech companies will be held responsible for any violations. The bill says social media platforms have to take reasonable steps to keep kids from logging on, and if they don't, they could face around $32 million in fines. Most of the major social media companies must comply, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter. Tech companies have been critical of the bill as it made its way through Australia's legislature, with one industry group raising privacy concerns over how ages will be verified. The law won't go into effect for 12 months to give the platforms time to prepare. Other countries, like the U.S., have laws that require a parent's consent for some minors to use social media. But Australia is the first nation to completely ban kids under 16. There are new warnings out about both cucumbers and eggs. The FDA says varieties of both foods may be contaminated with salmonella. The cucumbers were sold in 26 states and Canada, and they've been linked to an outbreak that made dozens of people sick. So Sun-Fed Produce issued a recall for its cucumbers sold between October 12th and November 26th. Separately, the eggs were sold at Costco under the wholesaler's Kirkland Signature brand in 5 southern states. No one has reported getting sick from the eggs, but they have a use-by date of January 5th, 2025, so it's important people check to make sure they don't still have the eggs in their refrigerators. We have more details about the recalls in today's episode notes. The new Wicked movie has sparked serious online debate over phones. Some fans have apparently been taking photos and recording videos during screenings of the movie, then sharing them on social media. One particularly popular post that racked up millions of views encouraged people to share pictures from the opening of Wicked, to which the theater chain Alamo Drafthouse responded, "Or don't do that." Some say the phenomenon is a result of the COVID pandemic making online interactions more prevalent, but others point out that recording during a copyrighted movie is technically illegal, and most theaters don't allow phone use during screenings. Either way, one thing's for sure, people are actually going to theaters to see movies again. This weekend at the box office set a new record, thanks mostly to Moana 2. The Disney sequel raked in $221 million in the US and Canada over the Thanksgiving holiday. Combined with Wicked and Gladiator 2, the blockbuster movies helped drive the biggest 5-day Thanksgiving haul ever, $420 million. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Quince. Think about how special it is when you get a gift you might not have bought for yourself, but you end up loving it. A lot of times, it's something that feels a bit like a luxury that you just didn't know you were missing. Well, for quality, luxurious gifts that still come at an affordable price, definitely check out Quince. This time of year is perfect to gift someone Quince's iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters, which start at just $50. Or check out their washable silk items. I adore my washable silk tank from Quince that I can wear on its own or under a blazer. They even have 14-karat gold jewelry, Italian leather handbags, and more. So whatever you're looking for, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, Quince passes the savings onto you. Plus, I really appreciate that Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, and they use premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. Gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/newsworthy to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to Money Monday. It's the giving season, and it turns out there's more to it than just helping others. Research has repeatedly shown it makes the person doing the giving happier. Researchers also say donating time or money has positive effects on things like blood pressure and the stress hormone cortisol. And overall, people who give to others live longer and happier lives on average. All things worth considering as we go through Cyber Monday and into Giving Tuesday tomorrow. The annual day of charity started back in 2012. Giving Tuesday is a huge day for nonprofits, which may rely on donations from this day to fund operations in the year ahead. Last year, Giving Tuesday saw $3.1 billion of charitable donations, and nonprofits hope to see even more this year, despite some worries that the giving trend has stayed flat for 2 years. So if there's a particular cause or charity you care deeply about, donating money might not only help them, but it could also make you happier. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and making us part of your daily routine. We'll be back with even more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.